Hi guys, Danjo Capital Master here, and we have a special guest. Can you please introduce yourself, sir?
Yeah, thanks for having me. My name is Charlie. I'm the co-founder of Bitlayer Labs. Yeah, one of the fastest growing leading Bitcoin L2 ecosystem in this space.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Charlie. So, I just want to ask you about the project overview introduction to Bitlayer and its progress and the key achievements over the past year.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so Bitlayer, we started in 2023. So far, we've been growing pretty fast. We launched our V1 mainnet last April. Altogether, we have around almost 40 million on transactions already. It's a 70 people team, global team, very tech driven. We've been building a lot of contribution on the BVM, on the technical side, education side. We just launched our BVM Bitcoin Trust Minimized Bridge last December. We had five major chains such as Base, Arbitron, Stucknet, Plume, and Sonic, Solana VM. We are working with. We announced that last week in East Denver. Bitlayer has been growing pretty fast. We focus on Bitcoin DeFi, over 280 projects on our network. All-time high, we hit over 1 billion TVL. We were the number one on the DeFi Llama on the TVL side, among
Wow.
all the big side chains and the Bitcoin L2s. Now we still sits around the 750 million on TVL. And still number two, the largest one. There's quite a lot of exciting momentum going on. Yeah, so Bitlayer last year we got an investment from Franklin Templeton, one of the first Web3 project actually get an investment from the Bitcoin ETF licensed issuer. So we're actively exploring collaboration with all kinds of different institutions as well, like with 21 Shares, with Grayscale, and a few others. We're still work in progress. Um, yeah, on the Web3 side, yeah, we got a good backers like Polychain Capital, Framework Ventures, OKX Ventures, many others that have been working with us and supporting us from early days. There's a decent amount of good builders and that from Ethereum and from other non-Bitcoin ecosystem they're entering the space. So that's kind of on the all kind of traction side. You know, altogether the community has over 3 million followers across different social medias already. We have been entering very different, very all kinds of different regions in Vietnam, Chinese, Singapore, Malaysia, Turkey, North America, and so on. And so it's a global community with global ecosystem and global investment base. Like there's a lot of things going on. I can keep on going, but I will pause on here. Hmm.
It's very amazing achievement, sir. So, what is the current overall development status of Bitlayer?
Great question. So we're getting close to launch our V2 mainnet, which is the key Bitcoin Trust Minimized Bridge together with the Bitcoin Security Equivalent Layer 2. Um, so yeah, V1 we launched already last April. So it's a mainnet with EVM compatible, with Bitcoin as gas fee mainnet. Over 280 projects already deployed on mainnet with their smart contract. Um, we have daily active user around over half million daily active user. Altogether, we have around 40 million transactions already. So there's like a lot of activity already happening on our chain. We did a 4 seasons of the Web3 campaign with OKX wallet, Binance wallet, SafePal wallet, BitGet wallet. We want to, use those campaigns to educate the user base about user behavior, give them the education and also a little taste about what is Bitcoin DeFi across all the use cases. While doing that and finishing the tasks on the campaign, users can getting some rewards like tokens and airdrops and stuff like that to incentivize themselves. And while getting the rewards, they actually can learn, on what kind of Bitcoin DeFi use case it is across lending, restaking, stablecoins, options, RWAs. This goes on. So that's that. There's a good amount of work our researchers has been putting emphasis on the BVM research and also the Bitcoin rollup side, the verifier, the light client design, and then a lot of other kind of ZK proof side on Bitcoin. There's quite a lot of research and engineering work we're still kind of working on progress. But I think we believe we're a couple of months away from launch the V2 mainnet, which will be very, very important, like next milestone in the Bitcoin space to deliver this Bitcoin security equivalent to layer 2, right? So for the people who are not familiar with Bitcoin L2, the definition, also the nuances behind it, it's basically Bitcoin has in the past in the layer 1 has no programmability, right? You can't really do DeFi or all the other use cases on Bitcoin. It's very slow. It's 70 PS. It's secure and it's decentralized, right? And it's proof of work ecosystem with payment as a use case. That's Bitcoin, right? It's digital gold. We all know that. But there was like multiple attempts. They tried to scale Bitcoin with sidechain, right? Like there was like Liquid, Stacks, Rootstock, and then the Drive Chain, and a few others. Some are EVM compatible. Some are actually using different languages, but they don't have the Bitcoin settlement. There's no Bitcoin verification, meaning transaction happen on the sidechain. There's no fees contributing back to Bitcoin layer 1. Miners, the whales actually don't receive any fees from the sidechain. On the sidechain security is different compared to Bitcoin layer 1 side security. Yeah, because there's no state verification verified on Bitcoin layer 1, right? So it's actually complete separate side system. Whatever transaction or whatever security issue happen on sidechain, your users fund cannot withdraw back to Bitcoin easily, safely, if malicious hacks happen in sidechain. So in a way, it will be pretty risky just fully dependently, trust the sidechain, right? With the validator set. Whereas rollup, like the whole true Bitcoin security layer 2 approach, transaction on happening on the layer 2 will be settled through the zk proof verified on Bitcoin layer 1. And by paying some of the fees, we actually contributing the security budget back to Bitcoin. And because of the transaction actually verified on Bitcoin, and we believe Bitcoin is secure, and then this layer 2 have the same level of security as Bitcoin. So that's the kind of key difference economically and technically, which is different, and that sets us unique compared to all these existing sidechains. And the BVM is so far the best approach to deliver this, Bitcoin layer 2 and the rollup. And Bitlayer team have been one of the biggest team and been growing and delivering this technology. So we're launching very soon.
Okay, sir, what are the key upgrades and improvements in the V2 version?
Great question. As I said, we will have this verification key feature that will enable the transaction contributing fees to the miners, to the Bitcoin blocks. We'll have a very important fundamental security upgrade, which will lead to the same level of security as Bitcoin layer 1. Once we launch our V2, we're going to explore all kinds of kind of native Bitcoin DeFi use cases with Bitcoin finality. That's kind of very key components. And I think we wanted to launch the V2 together with our governance token launching, right? We're getting close to CGE. Then with the governance token, we will have the structure and maybe have like a kind of voting mechanism. Maybe we'll consider have our governance token as part of the gas fee as well. Currently, people paying the wrapped Bitcoin version, wrapped version of Bitcoin for gas fee on Bitlayer. So we're gonna open up all kinds of capability, features and capability in the ecosystem, and onboard all kinds of validators who want to maintain the network together with us. While holding the BTR token. Yeah.
So how do you think will V2 positively impact the Bitlayer ecosystem?
We'll make it more Bitcoin native, right? We want to make it more Bitcoin aligned. This will be the technology will actually have the high security infrastructure, as I just mentioned. And hopefully, we'll get more builders and more users on board who wants to tap into the native Bitcoin, architect and the native Bitcoin layer 2, not just a sidechain, right? And obviously, we want to activate and onboard more Bitcoin TVL, right, through our BVM bridge. So this is basically the third generation Bitcoin bridging solution, which is one out of n trust assumption model that is more trust minimized compared to the rapid Bitcoin multi-sig approach. And we want to get more Bitcoiners to put their Bitcoin, which is in the cold wallet, doing nothing, into like active use cases, right? Entering all kinds of liquidity pools, Bitcoin DeFi use cases. Yeah, so that's what the implication and also the difference and the potential value we can unlock in the V2.
Amazing. So can you please explain the working mechanism and technical features of BVM bridge?
Right. So the BVM bridge is one of the key products we are launching already. We're integrating 5 different chains, another 4 to 5 major chains, like non-Bitcoin chains we are going to work with very soon. We're going to announce that. Last week we announced the 5 chains like Sonic, Plume, Base, Arbitron, and Stacknet. Some are Ethereum L2, and some are non-Ethereum, but Solana VM or their own layer 1, like RWA. They all have different ecosystem. The BVM bridge will basically be the new generation bridging solution. Users who hold Bitcoin in Bitcoin L1 can go through our the decentralized operators network. We just need to trust the one operator in the operating bridging platform is honest and secure. Then our bridge is secure. That's kind of our trust assumption. It's a one-to-one pact. It's not just kind of multiple layers of restaking kind of thing with a lot of risks. It's a very straightforward and more like decentralized kind of a bridging solution. We want to activate all these Bitcoin assets entering all kinds of ecosystem. As I mentioned, 5 chains, soon will be more. And we want to bring and explore and bring yield to the Bitcoiners, right? And obviously provide on the other side, providing the Bitcoin assets as a TVL and entering all these different ecosystem, different chains. So that's kind of the value we're delivering through our BVM bridge. To just a few words to deep dive technically on the BVM bridge, how it works. It's basically using the existing Bitcoin script to do a 2 weeks period kind of challenge game, like a fraud proof approach. It's kind of like similar to like Arbitron Optimism on the fraud proof side, Optimism roll up to do the challenge game. Doing the challenge game, that the people who initiated the challenge game, if that's some of the malicious transactions actually detected, they will get incentivized on the deposit. And yeah, so that's kind of there's a lot of optimization we're kind of working on, but it's getting to finish up the auditing very soon. The testnet already launched for almost 3 months now. So far, so good. We have a quite decent amount of Bitcoin being testing and bridging, and it works pretty well. And it's self custody. It's pretty good user experience for Bitcoiners to bridge their Bitcoin and enter all kinds of different chains. And yeah, we want to bring this technology to all kinds of users in the space.
So, what do you think are the key problems that this technology solve? How does it enhance transaction efficiency and security?
More on the security side, as I mentioned, right? So wrapped Bitcoin is small sets of signers with a multi-sig approach. RAM BTC, BitGo, Kyber Network, and a few other signers has been managing, maintaining the multi-sig for WBTC since 2018. And WBTC is an old wrapped Bitcoin. A lot of people knows, right? In the space, a lot of billions of worth of wrapped Bitcoin has been kind of bridged over to Ethereum and Ethereum L2s, and as well, there are a lot of all kinds of different DeFi protocols, right? As a trading pair, as assets. The problem with WBTC is its multi-sig approach. It depends on majority of the signers are honest, which is a very different and a big trust assumption. And last year, BitGo, one of the key multi-sig manager and also the co-founder of Rapid Bitcoin, they actually announced that they want to get rid of the WBTC. They don't want to manage the keys anymore. And based on many reasons, compliance reason, and also Global, a company owned by the founder of Tron, Justin Sun, they have been taking a lot of the ownership of the Rapid Bitcoin. So more and more companies are concerned about the ownership and the decentralization level about Rapid Bitcoin, right? So that's that. I think in a nutshell, we don't want just keep using Rapid Bitcoin forever, because it's the old technology hasn't really been upgraded for a long while, and it's getting more and more decentralized. If we want to bridge over like billions of dollars of Bitcoin, depend on a very small centralized of signers, it's not secure. It's pretty risky. So we want to deliver this technology with more decentralized approach, with less trust assumption, and yeah, that's kind of the goal to deliver this BVM bridge. With this better setup, hopefully we'll get more Bitcoin users that are willing to bridge over and entering all kinds of programmable layer, including Bitlayer and many other chains, to do all kinds of DeFi use cases and activities. Yeah.
So why is BitVM Bridge significant for the industry?
As I said, BVM is a great design in a way. It's a great concept, and they actually doesn't depend on Opcat or any other BIP or soft fork, hard fork. And we all know in Bitcoin, waiting and depending on any BIP or soft fork, hard fork is very, very challenging. Not technically challenging, but more governance challenging, right? You need to get the miners, getting the whales to agree on that. So our assumption is like Bitcoin in the next 2 years will not have a real upgradation, like BIP approval. We're not gonna have another soft fork, which was like pretty concerning. A lot of people had still have some kind of a PTSD when people wants to hard fork Bitcoin into like BSV or Bitcoin Cash and so on. Yeah, I think with the consensus within the Bitcoin community is very strong. Bitcoin is being have a huge rally right since the ETF launched, and the market cap went so much, and so many new users are holding Bitcoin with strong face. So we don't want to hard fork Bitcoin. So BVM approach is like using the existing Bitcoin script without depending on any of the hard fork, soft fork, or BIP to deliver this like verification capability and also trust minimized bridge capability. And that's very important. And I think that's the key angle and the best approach and the practical approach we can deliver to the market. And yeah, that's why the reason BVM team has been doubling down the BVM, the Bitlayer team has been doubling down the BVM efforts and the journey since 2023 already. We are the official BVM Alliance member. We have been doing pretty much one of the most contribution in the BVM open source work in terms of education, in terms of research, in terms of coding. And yeah, we're handling the auditing side of the BVM RAS 16 verifier. It's going to get audited by the top in the engineering team and auditors in the world. Yeah, this is gonna be the whole. This is gonna be huge. It's gonna be a big deal and a very important piece of technology which we are going to launch and deliver to the Bitcoiners in the Bitcoin space.
So how do you view the current state of the BTC Fi sector?
It's early. It's definitely very early. Size is small in terms of use cases, in terms of transaction, in terms of TVL. When we compare to Ethereum DeFi, right? Ethereum DeFi has over 7 years already. It's kind of started in 2018 after ICO. It became real after Uniswap and a bunch of other DeFi protocols launched in 2022, right? Have the DeFi summer. And obviously, there's like many other very solid optimization on the Bitcoin on the Ethereum DeFi side, right? Like with Aave, Compound, Uniswap, and like now we have Uniswap V3 and many other kind of evolution like Curve and so on. Stable coins, like you name it. A lot of those DeFi use cases in Ethereum, some of those builders or teams actually now exploring the Bitcoin assets, entering Bitcoin layer 2 like us, and so on. So we're talking to pretty much a lot of them. And I think they're going to be interesting to see a lot of new team that have been just entering the Bitcoin space. They realize the huge potential because of Bitcoin market cap and a bigger amount of TVL, on the asset side can enter all the DeFi protocols. There's going to be more value to unlock, right, with all these DeFi use cases. So I'm personally very, very bullish on that. On the demand side, I think I strongly believe a lot of Bitcoin users actually want to use that Bitcoin for use cases. It's not just digital gold, but actually have actual use cases, right, on the DeFi and other things. People want to get a yield. They don't want to just sit on the cold water doing nothing in the next another 15 years, which happened in the last 15 years. So more and more users actually wants to put their Bitcoin into use cases in to make it more fun and also earn yield, right? I think that's kind of the big assumption on the demand side that we hold strongly. And once the infrastructure is ready, we have good use cases and the demand is there, there's a product market fit. So yeah, back to your question, I think it's still very early. A lot of things still need to improve. A lot of education or mind share still needed to be built. But I think it's all growing faster and faster in a good way.
Amazing. So what do you think are the future trends in BTC Fi?
I think the institution gonna come over. They're gonna tap into the DeFi yield as well, not just retail and the degens.
Mhm.
The retail degen in the DeFi space, a lot of them from the non-Bitcoin folks like Ethereum, Solana, or many others actually will enter as well. And some of the Bitcoin maxi who never actually use Bitcoin for anything, who has been naysaying, shit talking, criticizing ordinals and so on, they might change their mind once the traction getting bigger and bigger. And then we want to see some interesting use cases will become like a big winner in the Bitcoin space, who have a successful token launch, who hits a lot of the product market fit, who will have like a big community with active users. So Bitlayer, we have a few projects actually across lending, stablecoin, restaking, or yield product. They've been growing well in terms of TVL, in terms of use cases. We're really trying to support them with the go-to-market strategy, with liquidity provision, with all kind of resources sharing and stuff like that to make them successful. And yeah, I know I'm pretty sure we're gonna see some very interesting, successful use cases in the Bitcoin space.
All right. So, what are Bitlayer's plans and strategies in the BTC DeFi space?
We want to be one of the most active, most supportive ecosystem, right? Tap into the Bitcoiners, tap into the non-Bitcoiners, go multi-chain strategy, and sourcing the best of the best, most innovative in builders, engineers, and also helping our liquid providers to look at sustainable real yield across different protocols and so on. So we're pretty well connected on all the top miners and Bitcoin miners and whales, especially the Asia ones. We try to present them all kinds of yield products, Bitcoin yield bearing products to them. We're going to issue and design, and we're gonna going to design issue like Bitcoin ETP, Bitcoin yield bearing trust product, and things like that to onboard the institution together with more and more retail. Um, yeah, and soon we're gonna lower down our gas fee, having like another boost of the user adoption with cheaper gas fee, meaning more transactions happening on chain. And yeah, obviously people care about our BTR token, which is launching very soon. We're finalizing our agreements with a few major exchanges, the well-known exchanges in the world. Obviously, the date is not confirmed until we fully sign the agreement and confirm, but it's getting close. And once we go TGE, and then we're gonna kick off a lot of other like, hackathons, global DevRel campaign. We're attending a lot of conferences on the non-Web3, more like TradFi, fintech side as well, but also obviously the more Web3 native conferences, including Token 2049, Digital Asset Summit, and so on and so forth. We're busy talking to a lot of media, trying to build a mind share with all the Bitcoin media, crypto media, and also the financial media. There's a lot of articles, a lot of comments, a lot of the thought leadership stuff we're launching and creating content on that. We're going to kick off another round of a global ambassador program, advocates to do all this ecosystem building and education across different region. Yeah, no, we want to be everywhere. Yeah.
Amazing. So, how do you describe the competitive landscape of Bitcoin Layer 2 solutions?
Good question. Last year, there was definitely a lot of Bitcoin L2 try to raise money. They claim they're growing fast. A lot of them didn't launch the mainnet, which is
Mhm.
unfortunate. And then a lot of them didn't raise enough money and raise enough TVL. So that's very difficult for them to really work around it. A lot of them don't have a very strong, healthy ecosystem. I think Bitlayer, we have been one of the fastest and the most active ecosystem, fastest growing and the most active ecosystem with like a lot of trade TVL, a lot of transactions, a lot of builders on top of us. And we had no problem raising with from the top VCs such as Polychain Capital, Framework Ventures, OKX Ventures, and Franklin Templeton. The list goes on. We have investors from over 30 different countries. We have builders from over 20 different countries. And as I said, we were number one on DeFi Llama. So I think we are winning on the traction and growth. Technical side, just heads down building and delivering, right? Making contribution from the BVM side. We're betting big on the BVM vision. Um, some other L2s actually don't have any BVM contribution. They're not doing similar things like us. Some of them are just sidechain. They're not necessarily actually real Bitcoin L2. And some of them have been pivoting. Some pivoting to DA, some pivoting to DEXs or more the AI stuff. So I think it's the players in the Bitcoin L2 sector is getting less and less. Yeah, it's good. It's like a natural selection and a survival kind of thing. In every single sector, it's kind of like that as a revolution. I would say we have less than 10 Bitcoin L2s kind of still there, and I would say 3 to 5 are kind of active. And Bitlayer, we are one of the winner in terms of traction and growth right now.
All right. So, what are Bitlayer's unique advantages among various L2 solutions?
We are the ones know the Asia community very well. We know pretty much all the top Bitcoin miners and whales. We have no problem working with other Western institutions, and we are the first backed by Franklin Templeton on that. Yeah, we're talking and working with all kind of institution, custody as well. And we have very solid engineer who have been building multiple EVM chains, ZK rollups. And we have been the first team deep dive on BVM research and on contribution. And we're going to keep doing that. So yeah, I think technically, non-technically, resources, ecosystem experience, and in many other stuff, we have pretty good lead. I personally successfully built a big different ecosystem across Polkadot, Tezos, and Polygon. I was previously on head of APAC in Polygon, head of China in Tezos, an early stage investor, and I also be ecosystem builder for Polkadot. And we learned a lot by working on the non-Bitcoin ecosystem. And I was first week on Ordinals, deep dive on Ordinals community for quite a bit from very beginning. My co-founder Kevin has been managing tech team since like 10 years ago. He was the one of head of engineer in the Huobi all-time high, managing almost 200 engineers in the Huobi group. He built 3 EVM chains and 2 ZK rollups, and also like early contributor for the Celestia. So he understands data availability, ZK rollups, and the smart contract very well on the technical side. So I think it's a good team with a lot of good experiences and a lot of the a track record. A lot of our engineers and researchers come from big company like Google, AWS, Alibaba, and so on. They have experience working with a big team. Yeah, it's a 40 full-time engineers and researchers, so one of the largest team in the Bitcoin L2 space. I think we are the ones actually contributing a lot of the codes and a lot of the thoughts and articles. Yeah, we just heads down, keep building. Yeah, that's I think our unique advantage in terms of experience, network, and also just skill set.
Mm-hmm. So, how does Bitlayer differentiate itself and ensures that it stands out in a competitive market?
I think results speak. Just keep delivering the best traction, working with the right partner, and having the right strategy. And we have to outlast the others. Yeah.
So, what are your expectations for the Bitcoin Layer 2 ecosystem in 2025?
I think we're gonna see some very blue chip DeFi protocols on Ethereum come over to Bitcoin layer 2 like us. We're talking to a few of them already, like Uniswap, Compound, Lido, DIDX, and so on. Obviously, we're gonna see huge influx of users from non-Bitcoin for ecosystem entering the Bitcoin L2 with some interesting strong use cases. There's gonna be interesting amount of yield we can tap into. That's another part we are exploring. And obviously, more and more Bitcoin assets will be activated, unlocked from Bitcoin L1 to layer 2 like us. So these are the trends we're gonna see. Institution, as I said, is entering. They're taking their time doing research, but they are going to make action more and more in 2025. Yeah.
Amazing. So, what innovative applications and opportunities do you foresee in the Bitcoin L2 space next year?
This year is mostly going to be DeFi.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 25.
Mm-hmm.
All the DeFi primitive across lending, stablecoins, DEXs, perp DEXs, real world assets, restaking, and many others.
Mm-hmm.
We actively onboarding those use cases and builders. We have at least 2 or 3 projects each sector in the DeFi space working on us with us already. I'm very bullish on AI. I want to
Mm-hmm.
see some very solid AI use cases with Bitcoin staking and Bitcoin strategy and so on. I think it's still very early stage. We haven't really found that many very solid concrete products on the AI side, but I think it's going to be high potential.
Mm-hmm.
Um, things like DP and a few other sectors can be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We are still trying to figure out the exact product market fit on those angles as well. But yeah, start from DeFi and see some other kind of new use cases involved.
All right. So, what role will Bitlayer play in this evolving landscape?
Yeah, well, be the solid, go-to web Bitcoin infrastructure for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's the
Okay.
role.
Okay. So, what initiatives has Bitlayer taken to build its community?
We had an ambassador program. We have advocate program. We
Mm-hmm.
launched our youth center, which users have a lot of fun doing all kinds of daily tasks. They
Mm-hmm.
win some rewards. They get some points.
Mm-hmm.
They did price prediction. They did a lot of the prediction market during the World Cup. I think our users had a lot of fun doing all kinds of campaigns, which
Mm-hmm.
we co-hosted with OKX wallet and Binance wallet, and a few others. All these are interesting operational initiative we'll be taking. The BVM Alliance and a lot of other stuff. We are planning out all kinds of like accelerator program to onboard builders, going to the universities, building some kind of education on that. We're going to sponsor and speaking on all kinds of Bitcoin technical events across like Bitcoin Plus Plus, UpNest, and TapConf. Yeah, we want to build a community on the technical side with the university, with the Bitcoin devs as well. A lot of these are kind of a work in progress. It takes time to really have a very solid foundation. Normally, I would say, based on my experience, it takes at least 1 or 2 years for that ecosystem to really have a very solid foundation in terms of, builders, educators, and the researchers and the community ambassadors. But it's all kind of it's all upcoming. Yeah, so we allow us to spend some time to properly build that, not rush it.
Yeah, and it's good that you're helping a lot of people, university. So,
Yeah.
what are Bitlayer's long-term development goals?
The V3 of the mainnet, we plan to do that later this year. We want to explore the high performance throughput kind of a virtual machine, not just EVM but other VM. We wanted to explore the high performance, transactions, architecture, like the parallel execution side. Yeah, we are pushing the OpCat with the Bitcoin, upgradation together with Starkware and a few other leading team together. We have a lot of connection with all the Bitcoin miners and whales. So we want to be one of the pioneer to pushing the OpCat in the near future. It's going to take a while, but we want to be one of the team from early stage, from the very beginning, to push that. Bitcoin need upgradation in the future. Bitcoin need a lot of transaction and also ecosystem. Bitcoiners want all kinds of use cases, so we want to keep delivering that. Yeah.
Amazing. So, for my final question, sir, what upcoming technological innovations and application scenarios can we look forward to?
Technology side, as I said, is BVM. BVM is getting real, not just a concept. It's going to live. It's getting launched in mainnet very soon. Start from bridge, and then will be the roll up. So stay tuned on that. Follow us on our blog to deep dive on technical side. Bitlayer.org. That's the website to look at our blog and look at our technical documents. Use case wise, check out our Bitlayer ecosystem leaderboards. It's on the Bitlayer org website on the ecosystem section. It will be mostly focused on DeFi to start with, and we will expand and explore other use cases. For anybody who are using DeFi in Ethereum, who wants to explore that with their Bitcoin assets, I think we would love to engage and bring those users on board.
All right, sounds good. So, guys, the links will be on the description below. We want to thank you, Mr. Charlie, for attending this AMA. Really appreciate it. Bitlayer is the best, guys. What are you waiting for? Join now. It will be on the description below. Follow them on X and all social medias, guys. Danjo Capital Master, the leading crypto influencer, guys. Have a nice day. Cheers. Have a nice day, guys.
Thank you.